There's a prevailing myth in UX that you need a prototype in order to observe user behavior. While having a prototype can certainly be useful, it's not always possible, especially when you're in the earliest stages of discovery work or still in the process of defining the true design problem. As a result, organizations in these early stages tend to lean primarily on things like secondary or desk research to make their decisions. But the fact is, you can still observe user behavior without a prototype, and not doing so is a huge missed opportunity. Here are 6 steps to take to research something that doesn't exist yet. First, identify the broad problem space that your future design is intended to solve. Ask yourself, is the business idea born out of a pain point or an unmet user need that maybe the founders or executives had experienced? Maybe a home improvement project during the global pandemic led to some moments of enlightenment about needs that were not being fulfilled. Use that as a starting point to build a hypothesis about the current state of affairs. Next, test your hypothesis by observing how real people currently solve that user need. And I'm not talking about analytics, and I'm also not talking about your coworkers or executives or friends. I'm talking about observational research with people who are representative of your user base. The fact is, you and your team and your friends know too much about the industry and are most likely not representative of the main users. So if you test viability with yourselves, you're not going to get a sense of viability with the rest of the market. So what are the main ways that real people seem to solve that problem right now? Observe them and see whether the pain point is truly severe or whether users are happier solving a problem one way versus another. Maybe what was a pain point in the digital space is not a pain point in the physical space, or vice versa. There's likely an important reason for either of these situations that's worth exploring. Once you have your data, don't let the bias of wanting a problem to exist taint your interpretation of the data. When analyzing the data, dissect why something is a pain point in the first place. And don't just ask why once. Channel your inner toddler and ask why 3, 4, 5 times. Eventually, you'll get to the root of the problem, or you'll uncover a better question that will give you better insights once answered. Once you do have a solid understanding of the problem, ideate. Brainstorm to come up with both new and old or rehashed solutions to see what truly solves that pain point the best. You might be surprised what you uncover. And of course, once you have an idea and can start to prototype, make sure you test it with the same types of users you observed. Assumptions can sneak their way into even the best designs. And it's important to validate or invalidate your best guesses as early as possible. Fail fast, fail cheap, fail often, so you know you're coming up with something that will be viable once launched. So don't let a fear of the unknown stop you from exploring and asking deep, important questions. Sometimes the best way to innovate is to dust off the cobwebs, crack open what seems to be an age-old problem, and shine a light inside. You never know. You just might find a treasure trove of opportunity to build something even better than your customers could have imagined.